this morning, sun's a bit hazy, checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low, gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, steady alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see, prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities, we're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's kick this can, guys. What do you say? Let's do it to it. Okay? Let's do it to it right now. Welcome to our program, guys. This is Emergency Management Associates on the air for you 24/7 need be. We've done it before, probably do it again. Okay? Today we're going to primarily talk about earthquakes around the world. Earthquakes around the world. But first, guys, and yes, there's a but first, we're going to be talking about the earthquake in Japan. What happened with that earthquake in Japan? We're going to delve into it. Everybody needs to hear what happened. We've had questions about it. I'm going to answer those questions right now. Okay? Let's go and talk about it now. Okay? I'm going to bring up USGS map here. I'm going to take down our webcam, and I'm going to take down our EMA banner here, at least for a few minutes. Today, the USGS is only saying we have 4 earthquakes here. Guess what? Since this earthquake happened yesterday, we've had several hundred earthquakes here. Several hundred, over 300 earthquakes so far. USGS is only showing 4 earthquakes here, which is a travesty. A travesty. This earthquake is a 5.4 large earthquake. This earthquake is a 4.8 moderate earthquake. Moderate. 4.0, 4.9 are moderate earthquakes. This is a 4.6 earthquake here. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. Okay? They had a 5.1 earthquake here and also another 5.0 earthquake here. They've taken them down. Let's talk about what happened here now. Okay? This entire area of southern Japan Kyushu Island here got devastated yesterday. Totally devastated. This whole area is full of people. Thousands of people live in this area. They got devastated. Yesterday, what happened? Let's talk about it, guys. I want to talk about it. The mall in Japan got destroyed. Okay? Before I get to talk about it, I'm going to show you a video of what happened here. Okay? This is Fox News from last night, talking about what happened here in Japan. Watch this, guys.
Recovery efforts are underway in Japan following a major magnitude 7.1 earthquake shook that country as several people were trapped inside of a shopping mall that partially collapsed on the southern portion of the main island, the southern main island, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. And you can see some of the damage now currently daytime on Wednesday in this location. But you can see some of the damages that happened, potentially a gas line ruptured, causing an explosion. We're also hearing from officials in Japan, the Japanese Prime Minister talking about urging residents to evacuate and stay vigilant after that major magnitude earthquake hits southern Japan as the death toll continues to rise. Let's bring into the conversation from Reuters in Tokyo, based in Tokyo, John Getty. John, thank you so much for joining us right now. What's the sense? What's the feeling? What's the latest you can tell us about this earthquake?
Well, the latest we just heard in the last hour from the Prime Minister, who has confirmed that 13 people have died, at least, in this earthquake that struck yesterday afternoon. There's a pretty frantic search still going on for survivors. You mentioned the collapsed shopping mall, which has been the most eye-catching moment, really, of the events of the last 12 hours or so. But there are other locations as well. There's a paper mill where the chimney partially collapsed, where 7 people are also missing. And the Prime Minister described it this morning as a race against time to find survivors. So, yes, for rescue workers on the ground, it really is, a desperate attempt to try to find people, especially in this mall where you can see now the wreckage that was caused from that.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to watch, and they're racing against the minutes, the hours to get there. The Prime Minister also told people to stay vigilant. Are they concerned that there might be more quakes, aftershocks happening?
Yes, that's pretty standard in Japan, often with big quakes like this, to expect, aftershocks. There've been over 100 small aftershocks in the area since that quake yesterday afternoon, and authorities have warned residents, especially in those areas that were very close to the epicenter, to beware of potentially other big jolts that could come for the next week. So absolutely, residents many are under evacuation orders, so they are considering whether they need to go to evacuation centers. Another issue that authorities have warned about here is, many homes, thousands of homes, are without power, and we're in the middle of summer here in Japan. It's hot. It's going to get 34 degrees plus, down in Kumamoto today, and very humid. So, in people in houses without access to air conditioning, the authorities are warning for people to be very vigilant about potential, heat stroke and heat risks, as well, even if they have managed to get through this initial chaos of the post-earthquake.
Yeah, those recovery efforts, even for people that still have their homes standing, it is very real. How have people in Japan mobilized rescue efforts? What does that look like right now to try to get out? Because you mentioned the shopping mall, other areas. How have they mobilized crews?
Yeah, rescue efforts have been very extensive from those on the ground, and then the soldiers from the self-defense forces, the Japanese army, have also been deployed. 3,600 soldiers were sent in to try to help with rescue efforts, including in that collapsed mall that you mentioned earlier. So very extensive rescue efforts underway, and it's some of the hospitals that are really near the epicenter center are without power. So at least one hospital said it was without power and effectively acting as a field hospital. Another said, they were basically at capacity and were having to turn people away. So, those additional aid workers and rescue workers will be very vital at this moment in time.
Have you ever wondered if buying something small could...
Okay, I can't let that commercial go here.
Can I ask you, because when we talk about earthquakes, especially on the coast like there in southern Japan, you also talk about tsunamis and there are other warnings out there. Can you talk about that and how the warnings were in effect? What did people kind of see in that regard?
So the moment that the earthquake hit, so usually what happens in Japan is that you will get an alert often pushed to your phone or across TV stations that will, a siren will sound and say an earthquake is incoming. And, that's what we had here. Then we got news of this big earthquake. Initially, authorities said there's a risk of a 1 meter tsunami. So people were prepared for that, but they lifted that a few hours after. So no tsunami risk from this quake. But of course, Japan is the most seismically active country in the world. It's almost every year we have some, major earthquake that, send shockwaves across the population and has people on edge. But as a result of that, I think, whilst it is the most seismically prone country in the world, disaster preparedness is also, very, very good and very strong, especially since that massive earthquake in 2011 that we know of, that's been really stepped up. So, it's something that people in Japan just live with on a daily basis.
Yeah, right there on the fault line, the ring of fire so many people talk about. I want to ask you, just for our international audience here on Live Now from Fox, if they're unfamiliar with the geography of Japan, where exactly was the epicenter? And you mentioned Kumamoto. How culturally significant is that area, that region, to Japan?
So Kumamoto sits in a part of Japan called Kyushu, which is, I guess you have the main Honshu Islands where Tokyo sits. Then you have another island, a big island called Kyushu. And then you have the small chain of islands, the Okinawa Islands. So it's in this it's about maybe a 2-hour roughly flight from Tokyo to that region. It's a very well populated area. Kumamoto is the biggest city in that area, full of very historic sites and amazing, natural beauty. Kumamoto Castle, which is sort of the symbol of the town, was extremely badly damaged in an earthquake that also hit that region 10 years ago. And the reports came in last night that, they've been rebuilding walls there, and some of those walls at Kumamoto Castle had also come down in this latest quake. You're seeing images there of various shrines across the region as well that have been affected. So, sadly, yes, many cultural buildings as well will have been affected by this quake. Often those buildings like shrines, they're built with extremely heavy slate roofs, right? So in the event, that earthquakes hit, it's often older buildings like that with these very heavy roofs that tend to come down, whereas modern buildings that are built with, all the kind of earthquake prevention techniques, are able to withstand these sort of size of quakes.
All right, that is very good to know and a good understanding of what this area is. Are we missing anything here, John? Is there anything else you want to know? Because you obviously talked about it, so very familiar to what's going on there. Are we missing anything about this quake and how they're responding?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, the center of the attention at the moment is, as you say, on this mall. It's a strange situation because there was a big explosion in this mall around an hour after the quake hit. So the mall operator said that they'd managed to get around 200 shoppers in the mall. They'd evacuated them immediately after, but there were still some people inside when this explosion of unknown origin occurred. And there's been some footage, before this from dash cam footage that has been, been shown on local television here, and I'm sure other stations around the world, there's this vast explosion from inside the building that sends all this debris out across the car park and leaves the whole front of the building in ruins, as you see. So authorities are investigating a potential gas, situation, according to local media reports. The more we find out about that, I think that will become the dominant story of this. How did this occur? What safeguards should be in place to prevent this kind of incident from occurring? I think that will be a big focus going forward. Our teams on the ground are trying to get to the various disaster sites, and they're saying, around Kumamoto City, the damage doesn't look too bad, but the area that's sort of the epicenter, which is nearer to where this mall is, nearer to where that paper mill I talked about earlier was, which, that area is obviously going to be, it's less populated, but it's going to be the one that we're going to see the real kind of damage and extent of what's happened here.
And as you
Okay, that's the end of the report from Fox, but I wanted to play that because it has a big effect on what happened with Japan last night. Okay, a big effect. Now, I want to talk about this. Son. Okay, rescuers have scrambled to get people out of that mall, especially the mall. Okay, rescuers have also been over at the paper mill as well. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But they're primarily here at this mall here because it collapsed and destroyed itself. Okay. At first, when people went in here, they rescued about 200 people out of it, both shoppers and some employees out of the mall. Okay. But at least 18 people died following the quake. Okay. Rescue operations are ongoing as emergency workers search for survivors that are trapped in the rubble. 1 hour, approximately 57 minutes after the earthquake hit, that's when the explosion went off. They believe it was a natural gas leak that caused the explosion. Okay? Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi said every second counts as thousands of military personnel were mobilized to reach those who were trapped. About 3,900 military people have been mobilized over in there in southern Japan. The shopping mall had evacuated 200 people before the front of the building blew out. 200 people walked out of there after 4:27 p.m. when 3,000 people were on site. 3,000 people were on site, guys. Remember, this is summer peak vacation season. Summer peak vacation season there in Japan, just like it is here. All customers had been evacuated to the parking lot supposedly by 5 p.m. yesterday after the explosion happened. Okay? The explosion happened 50 minutes later after the earthquake. Rescue workers reported the smell of natural gas in the mall. Then came the explosion that led to its partial collapse. Okay? I'm not going to show you the video from the police body cams that we're wearing, where they went in there before the explosion happened, and then they smelled the gas. They got out of there, and that's when the explosion happened. Okay? The deadly explosion was just reported as a terrifyingly loud explosion. First thing, it was part maybe of a major earthquake going to happen again. Okay? That's what they thought. Possibly another earthquake was going to happen again. Japan's chief cabinet secretary said authorities believe the explosion may have been caused by a gas leak where several people died and 3 remain missing after the building partially collapsed due to that gas explosion. Roughly 2,700 staff that were in that mall, which ran the 200 shops, services, and restaurants, including well-known international retailers as H&M and Uniqlo, and a cinema complex as well. We have confirmed a total of 5 workers at Japan's Aeon Mall, Kumamoto shopping mall that partially collapsed. 5 workers have been confirmed killed. Okay? Scenes, like I said, captured by body cams, police body cams inside the Japanese shopping mall show the power of the blast that shook the complex after the suspected gas explosion in the aftermath of the earthquake. Okay? Detailed causes certainly under investigation. Okay? Fragments of walls, ceilings were strewn all over the floor as officers navigated through the dangling electricity cables, and the shops looked totally empty and were left unrecognizable as they once sold merchandise. Now, besides that, they talked about the paper mill that was destroyed. A Nippon paper mill, guys. A Nippon paper mill here. Let me show you that. That was also destroyed. This is one of the emergency fire crews going to that paper mill. Okay? A big deal. A huge deal, guys. A huge deal. Okay? Unreal. Very much unreal. 5 people at the Nippon paper mill have also died as a part of that disaster earthquake. 9 people still remain missing in the Nippon paper mill factory at Yasuhiro City, Kunamoto Prefecture, after the site collapsed, suffering extensive damage in Tuesday's earthquake. The factory sustained significant damage as a result of the 7.1 earthquake, with one of its chimneys totally snapped off. One of the smokestacks at the factory was completely snapped off in the earthquake. Okay? Now, they're said, okay? This is what I found today here, okay? They said 2 people were found in a state of cardiopulmonary arrest, and it's not confirmed whether they survived the earthquake event at the Nippon factory. You might remember several months ago at Nippon paper mill outside Portland, Oregon, suffered an explosion there, caused a caustic chemical leak out of the plant. Okay? Here in southern Japan, bridges have buckled. That historic castle that they talked about in the video was once again damaged in the region. The new walls that they put up at that historic castle came down as well. That was during a 2016 earthquake. In 2016, a series of devastating earthquakes killed 275 people around this part of the country, making it one of the country's deadliest disasters in recent history. As I said before, 3,600 military personnel have been mobilized amid an effort to expedite rescue and relief efforts. The military personnel are due to work in coordination with local police and fire departments in the region. Earthquake reduces temples in Kunamoto also. Okay, that one complex where that historic temple was came down again. Other Japanese temples also had severe damage. Vulnerable damage because they were old masonry buildings, masonry and wood buildings, okay? Those old buildings were vulnerable to shaking and suffer extensive damage. The structures from which large temple bells are suspended have collapsed. As he said in that briefing, hospitals have been hit with power outages following the earthquake. Those hospitals are scrambling to relocate patients and keep them cool under intense summer heat. Okay? It's become like a hospital in the war zone. Okay? One of the managers of the Kumamoto Minami Hospital said they're looking for other facilities to take their patients. We're searching for receiving hospital. We have no idea if we'll actually be able to find any. Kunamoto Uki Hospital said they treat many elderly patients, and they struggle to keep the air conditioning units running. The temperature there is expected to surge to 91 degrees, 32.7 Celsius on Wednesday today. Several patients have developed what were believed symptoms of heat stroke. A kindergarten also in that area collapsed in Kunamoto after the earthquake. One kindergarten teacher was described how she shielded 2 students with her body as the school around them collapsed. The school had carried out many earthquake drills in the past, and that helped keep the students and everybody else calm. Okay? Earthquake drills just like we do here. Okay? An office was also left in disarray after the powerful 7.1 earthquake hit. And that video is there, and I can't show it to you because they have too much Japanese language going on, and they have some music playing, and I can't show it to you. But the video of the office complex showed desks overturned, items throughout the complex totally strewn around the floors, and the employees were trying to evacuate. It was a terrible scene. Okay? The office suffered considerable damage. Personal computers toppled off. Desks swayed and collapsed violently. A founder from a recruitment company saw the office was left as garbage. That's what they said. The office was left as garbage. It's all left. The person said they hid under the desk like during an air raid, but the ground felt alive and was pushing up from below. Authorities have said they have plans being made to hold an emergency response meeting tonight to identify immediate needs of the affected area. This is very much the case. Okay. Now, with that said, this earthquake was felt over thousands of square miles around Kumamoto, Japan, all the way over to Korea. Seoul, Korea also felt swaying in some of their buildings, and the ground moved under their feet in Seoul, Korea. This was a big deal. This was a major 7.1 to 7.4 earthquake, as I said before. Came in at 7.3. All the evidence I showed you last night said it was no more than a 6.1. Okay, that's what USGS would want to have us believe, but it was not. This was at least a 7.1 to 7.4 earthquake. Lots of damage. And again, that earthquake is felt all the way over to the west to Seoul, Korea. That's huge. That's huge, guys. We want to remember how strong this earthquake was. Does anybody have any questions about the Korean earthquake? Anybody have any questions about the Korean earthquake here? Stephen Volcano says she doesn't do well in heat and humidity. Simply, excuse me, simply can't breathe. I agree. I have some of those same symptoms myself in this heat that we've had here. Today it's 95 degrees, guys. 95 degrees. Yesterday this time we had thunder going on. I got off the air yesterday, just after this time, or just before this time, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. Okay. Yes, we were under tornado warning. That tornado never came up. We had heavy duty thunderstorms coming in here. And as I said, thunderstorms throw off tornadoes as well. These extensive thunderstorms continued for 3 hours after I got off the air. 3 hours. Sometime after 9 p.m. last night, Eastern Time. Huge storm here. Any questions about what happened in Japan? I've done a lot of searching for information today, doing a lot of research. I have a lot of information I can tell you about. Trish Killian says, I don't know how we get true information out of a country like that. The only information we could get out is from people that had telephones and put out the information to the media. Okay? The governments don't like to put out information, but individual people put it out. That's where most of this information came from. Individual people. Okay? The governments like to keep quiet about everything. Okay? That's one of the reasons USGS doesn't show information. They don't want to do it. They don't want to admit what happened. As I showed you yesterday, they showed this 7.1, 7.4 earthquake to be nothing more than a 6.1. Unreal. Unreal. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Okay. If not, let's go and take a look at the rest of the world here. Okay. I'm going to take down a webcam again. We're going to look over the entire area. Okay. Let's back away from southern Japan here. Look at this, guys. I'm not showing any other earthquakes here in Japan, but up here in the north, just off the northeast coast of Japan, we have several 4.0 earthquakes, moderate earthquakes here. Of course, I'm not going to show them, unfortunately. Going down here, I want to show you this, okay? Over here, off of eastern Luzon, Japan, Luzon Island, Japan here, off of Manila, which is the capital of Philippines here, we have a 5.1 large earthquake here. This is 79 kilometers offshore. Nobody on Luzon Island, Philippines felt this earthquake. Far enough offshore here, but it's still on the Philippine earthquake fault, the edge of the tectonic plate here. Further to the south, central Philippines here. This is another 5.4 earthquake here. 5.4 earthquake here in central Philippines. Okay. This earthquake, guys, was 53 kilometers east of the Raputo, Philippines. Raputo, Philippines. Okay. 53 kilometers. This is a 5.4 earthquake, guys. I think this area here, they might have felt some shaking here, but they didn't get the full 5.4 earthquake here. The ocean waters of the Philippine Sea absorbed some of the shock waves from this quake. They may have felt some kind of moderate or small earthquake shaking here in the central Philippines from this 5.4 earthquake here. Okay, going south here. Okay, right here, off the northeastern side of Mindanao, Philippines. Mindanao, Philippines is this major island here in the southern Philippines. This earthquake is a 4.8 moderate earthquake. Again, it's 23 kilometers offshore. Okay, 23 kilometers is approximately 13 miles offshore. Moderate earthquake, I don't think anybody felt this earthquake at all. Again, the ocean waters of the Philippine Sea absorb the shock waves of this quake, but again, look where it's at. This again is the edge of the tectonic plate, and that's the reason these earthquakes hit. Okay, going further south here, off down here in the southern Philippines, off the island of excuse me. Oh. Sorry, I got allergies here. Over here in the southern Philippines, southern Mindanao Island here. This is another large 5.0 earthquake. Aftershock. Aftershock of the 7.4 earthquake that hit here just over a month ago. This area is still reeling and still trying to recover bodies from homes, businesses, and other buildings fell down when that 7.4 earthquake hit. 5.0 earthquake here. 4 kilometers north-northeast of Balongon, Philippines. I know I'm butchering that. My son knows Tagalog, I don't. They speak several dialects of Tagalog here. I don't speak Tagalog. Balongon, Balangonan, Philippines. Large 5.0 earthquake here. This is in the mountainous region here, guys. This is the spine of the island here. This is old rock, old volcanic rock, guys. Why am I talking about old volcanic rock? Because this rock is very dense. When we have earthquakes here, when we have earthquakes such as this here, guys, this is a very shallow quake, 54 kilometers deep, shallow earthquake. As a result of these shallow earthquakes, guys, the seismic energy echoes through the solid rock here. The seismic energy covers all over the place from this area. Echoes all over the place through this solid rock here. This 5.0 earthquake here is felt all over this area. Literally all over this area, guys. Okay? Like I said, they're still trying to recover from the 7.4 earthquake that hit here just over a month ago. Okay? Offshore here. This is another 5.0 earthquake here. In this case, 48 kilometers southwest of Bolongongan, Philippines, out in the Philippine Sea here. Guys, nobody felt this earthquake. The ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves from this quake. Now, even over here on Sarangani, Philippines here, or this island right here. Okay? I don't remember the name of this island here. I think it's Goose Egg. I think it's the translation is Goose Egg Island in English. This cigar-shaped island here is called Sarangani, Philippines. People live on this island. I don't think anybody lives over here on this egg island here. Okay? But nobody felt that 5.0 earthquake offshore today. Okay? Backing out of here. Going down here into Indonesia here. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake here. Now, I believe I looked at this map earlier today. We had 50 plus earthquakes here. I think they probably have 47 earthquakes remaining on the European map. Again, what is the USGS telling us here? Absolutely nothing. They're showing one 4.3 earthquake here when there's nearly 50 earthquakes still remaining on the European map. Okay? Also over here in Papua, Indonesia. Papua, Indonesia here, guys, we have another 4.8 earthquake here. This is southeast of Aveyah, Indonesia. Sorry, guys. My allergies are getting the best of me. This earthquake is southeast of Aveyah, Indonesia here, or southwest of Aveyah, Indonesia here. 4.8 earthquake here. These people don't have much money. They live very frugally. When earthquake test hits, it damages all their lives. It devastates them. Unreal what it does to these people here in Papua, Indonesia. Going over here further east here. This is another 4.8 earthquake here in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, guys. In this case, this hit on land. This island right here, it hit on land. Okay? Now, guess what? There are very few people live here, and the people live here, this area gets, these earthquakes here, devastates their lives. Turns their lives upside down. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake. But in this case, moderate earthquakes this size cause a lot of damage. In the United States and Western countries like us, or even Japan, a 4.8 earthquake can knock pictures and plaques off of walls, knock bookcases and knickknacks off of shelves, and that's just about all. They can rattle cups and saucers, plates and stuff around in cupboards. And if the cupboard doors are not secured, then the dishes and plates, whatever's up in the cupboards, may rattle out of the cupboards. Now, a 5.0 plus earthquake, all that stuff is going to rattle out of the cupboards, be thrown out of the cupboards, and then there's going to be major damage. In this case, there's going to be quite a bit of damage. The people here in Papua New Guinea, guys, make about $300 a year. $350 a year selling vegetables that they grow here in Papua New Guinea. Unfortunately, these earthquakes do a lot of damage here. Okay? Scrolling back out here. Over here in the island, South Pacific Islands here, a brand new earthquake here. the Kermadec Islands. In this case, this is a 6.0 strong earthquake. 6.0 strong earthquake. Right here. Guess what? This earthquake just struck. This is the 5.1. This 5.1 earthquake hit at 8:23 this morning. 8:23 this morning. Large 5.1 earthquake in the Kermadec Islands. Now they've had a 6.0. I want to remind everybody that's watching this program. Here in the Kermadec Islands, guys, this is a bird sanctuary. Nobody lives here. Nobody lives in the Kermadec Islands at all. Why? Because they're volcanic islands. Under the water here, there are volcanic reefs. Huge volcanic reefs. During low tide, nobody can even get in and out of here. Any scientists go in and check on the birds, come here either by helicopter or come in here on boats during high tide. They also leave during high tide. Okay? But 2 earthquakes here, a 5.1 earthquake hit earlier this morning. Now another 6.0 earthquake just hit. Going up here in the Tonga region, right here, south of Tonga. This is another 5.1 earthquake here. 5.1 earthquake here. And right here, this is another 5.0 earthquake. And this is another 5.0 earthquake. These are south of Tonga here. Out in the ocean waters, nobody felt these earthquakes at all. There's no islands around these earthquakes at all. The Pacific Ocean waters absorb the shockwaves of these quakes. Now these are 5.0 earthquakes. Very strong earthquakes. Okay? Why am I saying very strong earthquakes? Guys, they hit within a very short distance between themselves. That means their strength was tripled. Their strength was tripled. This is like having a 6.5 to 7.5 earthquake here because it's all together. These earthquakes are all together here. Huge, tremendous energy here. Okay? Going up here into Tonga here. This is a 5.3 large earthquake here. 5.3 large earthquake here. Guys, this earthquake hit here at just about 8:47 p.m. last night, Eastern Time. 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time last night. 5.4 large earthquake. This time it's 153 kilometers offshore from Niapu, Tonga. Northeastern Niapu, Tonga. You see Niapu, Tonga here on your map? This is where the earthquake hit. Nowhere even close to that island. Nobody even felt this earthquake. Nobody felt that earthquake at all. The same thing is true right here, down here further the south. There's some tiny islands here. Nobody even lives here, I don't believe. I don't think anybody even lives here. Okay? Now, let's go down here to New Zealand. 35 earthquakes have struck here in New Zealand. 2.2, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 to 3.9, and 4.4 earthquakes here in New Zealand. 4.4 moderate earthquake here in New Zealand. Down here between the 2 islands of New Zealand. This is called the Cook Strait here. This water between the 2 islands is called the Cook Strait. This is where that moderate 4.4 hit. Okay? Like I said, the others were minor earthquakes, 2.0 to 2.9. The small earthquakes were 3.0 to 3.9. No big deal, no damage. No damage, guys. Okay? Now, let's go further south here. Down here on the Antarctic Ridge here. On the Antarctic Ridge here in the South Pacific. There is a large quake here. A very large 5.6 earthquake. right here where it's at. This earthquake is going to creep up here to the northeast, up the northeastern part, the Antarctic ridge here. This earthquake could go ashore here in Chile or Argentina, or it could continue over here to the southern tip of Chile and Argentina in South America, and it could continue over here into the South Sandwich Islands. It could do that. Here in the South Sandwich Islands here today, we have a 5.0 large earthquake here. This energy here is going to come down here to the Antarctic ridge and creep up here in the South Mid-Atlantic here. Then this large 5.0 energy is going to creep through the Mid-Atlantic here and go up here north here. We already have an earthquake here in the southern, not southern, but the central Mid-Atlantic here. We have a 5.0 earthquake here in the Mid-Atlantic Ocean here. That 5.0 is also going to creep up here through the Mid-Atlantic Ocean, the South Mid-Atlantic, the Central Mid-Atlantic, and up here in the Northern Mid-Atlantic here. It could possibly even go up here into Iceland. Could do that. Okay? Here in Central America, USPS is showing 2 earthquakes. That's a fallacy. There are 53 earthquakes here in South America. 53. Okay? 18 earthquakes here in northern Chile. This is a 4.1 here. This northern Chile, where the Chilean border, the Argentina border come together in the Andes Mountains. This is a 4.1 moderate earthquake here. 84 kilometers northeast of San Pedro de Atacama, Chile, near Argentina. 84 kilometers northeast of San Pedro de Atacama, Chile. Okay, here's the border region of Chile and Argentina. There are 18 earthquakes up here. There are 14 earthquakes down here in central Chile, Argentina region here. This is a 4.4 earthquake here in Valparaiso, Chile, near Valparaiso, Chile here. 4.4 moderate earthquake here. Guys, this is just barely on the shoreline. Just barely on the shoreline. Valparaiso felt this earthquake, or felt some part of this earthquake, guys. They felt it. Go up here in Santiago, which is the capital of Chile, I don't think they felt it, but here in Valparaiso, they probably did. Again, there are 14 other earthquakes in this region here. USGS didn't want to show them because they don't want to admit anything's happening here. But it's happening. 2 earthquakes here in Peru. 5 earthquakes here in Colombia. Up here in Venezuela. 17 earthquakes here, guys. 17 earthquakes here near Caracas. This area of northeastern Venezuela here. All these earthquakes are aftershocks of the 2 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes that hit here about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Okay? South America continues to rock. 13 earthquakes have hit here in Central America. 1 in Panama. Most of these earthquakes are all in Costa Rica. A couple of them over here in Nicaragua and El Salvador here, and 1 over here in Guatemala. Offshore of southern Mexico. This is a 4.4 earthquake. It is an aftershock of a 5.6 earthquake that hit here just a week ago. 4.4 earthquake, guys. 4.4 earthquake. Now, guys, this is offshore. It's an aftershock. There are more earthquakes just like this all over this region. All over this region. There's about 14 earthquakes here in the southernmost part of southern Oregon, southern Mexico. Southern Mexico. There are a total of 46 earthquakes here in southern Mexico from the northern Guatemala border all the way up here to Puerto Vallarta. That's a lot of earthquakes. The earthquakes are nothing more than 3.0 to 4.7 earthquakes. 3.0, 3.9 small earthquakes, 4.0 to 4.7 earthquakes in southern Mexico down here have hit today. I do not understand why USGS can't show these earthquakes. They never do. They never show them, guys. They do it all the time. Now, I have birdies whispering in my ear that we have more earthquakes down here in the Kermadec Islands. More earthquakes, just what I've shown you down here. Another 6.2 earthquake hit here. Another 6.2 earthquake just hit here in the Kermadec Islands. Okay? Now going north into northern Mexico, into Southern California. Okay? I'm not going to spend a great deal of time talking about earthquakes in Southern California today. Just not going to do it. What we're showing you here is true. It's true. However, it's not showing all the earthquakes at all. This one at the border. This one happened in Mexico. Mexico at the border. Okay? A 2.4 minor earthquake. 2.4 minor earthquake. This one on the northern side of the border. This is southeast of Alcatel Wells. 1.5 tremor here. Now, guys, there are other earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley here in Southern California. This whole area from the northern border of Mexico and in the United States here, up until and including the Salton Sea, all the way up here to north of the Salton Sea here, we have North Salton Sea City here. Actually, it's a town called North Salton Sea here. Here, guys, this all belongs to the Imperial Valley here. It all belongs to the Imperial Valley here. Here throughout the entire Imperial Valley here, we have over 500 earthquakes today. Over 500 earthquakes today. Okay? Over here in Bombay Beach, we have 17 3.0 to 4.6 earthquakes here in Bombay Beach. 3.0 to 4.6 earthquakes here in Bombay Beach. There are 16 of them, guys. 16 of them. Going down here to the south here. Southeastern Imperial Valley here. Right here. Calipatria. Southeast of the Salton Sea here. This is where the San Andreas Fault comes out of the Salton Sea here. It follows the eastern side of the Salton Sea all the way down to Bombay Beach, comes out here into Calipatria. Here in Calipatria, if I were to show you a seismogram here, we'd have 150 earthquakes today. Huge earthquake presence here in Calipatria today, all throughout this area here. 150 earthquakes, that's a lot. That's a ton of earthquakes. Okay? There are other earthquakes here as well. Okay? I want to go south over here. Okay? You see Brawley here. I don't believe we have a seismograph here in Brawley. However, I believe we have earthquakes in Brawley. Going further to the southwest here, we come to a town called Imperial. Imperial, guys, we have a seismograph here. We have tremors here, 1.0, 1.9. We have 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes. You also have 3.0, 3.6 earthquakes here in the town of Imperial today. I checked. Going further south here into El Centro. El Centro is a town of about 50,000 people here. Most of those people here in El Centro work over here at El Centro Naval Air Station. Here in El Centro, guys, there are 18 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in El Centro today. 18 of them. Together with a bunch of tremors, 1.0 to 1.9, and 2.0 to 2.9 minor earthquakes as well. El Centro's getting beat up by earthquakes here today. It's amazing that USGS doesn't want to show any earthquakes here. Now, I want to go down here to the southeast Imperial Valley here. Down here into a town called Holtville. Right here. The town called Holtville is maybe 7,000, 8,000 people here. I was down here when we maybe had 1,000 people here. When I was in high school, we had a debate tournament here at Holtville High School. Holtville High School here, Holtville, California here, has tremors, 1.0 tremor, 1.0, 1.9 tremors, that 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes. Occasionally, they will even see a 3.1, 3.2 earthquake, which I think they saw today. Earthquakes in Holtville. There happens to be a seismograph here in Holtville. Okay? But again, USGS not going to show anything here. They never do. Or I should say rarely ever do. Okay? Besides this earthquake southeast of Ocotillo, California, we have another earthquake here. This is a 2.3 earthquake, 20 kilometers southwest of Ocotillo Wells. Ocotillo Wells is up here, right there. Okay? North of Ocotillo, or west of Ocotillo Wells here, we have a 0.5 microquake. This is actually in Borrego Springs, California, in the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Anza Borrego Desert State Park belongs to East San Diego County. East San Diego County. This is a 1.4 tremor here, also in Borrego Springs. Going up here to the north. This is also in Borrego, 1.0 tremor, 0.5 microquake, 1.1 tremor here. This is 0.4 microquake here. The San Jacinto Fault. The San Jacinto Fault here. This is the Anza Gap here, Anza Borrego Desert State Park. 0.6 microquake. 0.6 microquake here. Again, on the San Jacinto Fault. Over here further to the southwest here, you see an earthquake just happened here. Whenever you see a red dot, that's an earthquake that just happened. This is 0.4 microquake in Warner Springs, north San Diego County. Warner Springs, north San Diego County, northeast of Palomar Mountain. Palomar Mountain is a 6,000, actually 7,000 foot tall mountain here, housing the Hale Telescope. Housing the Hale Telescope. Palomar Mountain is right there. Palomar Mountain is right there. Just north of Palomar Mountain here, we have a 0.6 microquake. 2 miles west, northwest of Palomar Mountain. Okay? You might also say this is also part of the Anza Gap. Going north here, Bella Vista, California. Stillton, San Diego County, North San Diego County. This is a 0.3 microquake, also part of what we call the Anza Gap here. Going to the northeast here. This is 0.7 microquake. This is 0.5 microquake, also Valley Vista, California. This is in the foothills of the mountains here. Foothills of the mountains. These mountains divide San Diego County, San Bernardino County from the desert area here in the Mojave Desert. Okay? Up here on the San Andreas Fault here, we have a 1.0 tremor here. This is 6 kilometers northwest of Indio, California. Up here, just east of the San Andreas Fault, 1.1 tremor here. In this case, this is 14 kilometers east-northeast of Indio, California. Up here to the north, 1.0 tremor here. Northeast of Indio, California here. Just east of the San Andreas Fault. Okay? The San Andreas Fault is moving, guys. The San Andreas Fault is moving. All these tremors and microquakes don't have any influence on what's actually going on the San Andreas Fault. Okay? They don't release energy here. Again, the San Andreas Fault is locked and loaded. Locked and loaded to have a 7.0 to 7.5, even possibly an 8.0 earthquake here on the San Andreas Fault here in Southern California. The fault is locked and loaded. Okay? It can happen in a drop of a heartbeat, literally. A drop of a heartbeat, literally. I'm not kidding with that. Going north here, also on the San Andreas Fault. Banning, California, 1.2 tremor here. Further to the southwest here, this is still on the San Andreas Fault. 1.5 tremor here in Beaumont, California. Further to the northwest here, on the San Jacinto Fault, Redlands, California, 1.0 tremor here. Now, guys, they can say whatever they want. These are not the only earthquakes hitting here. I know for a fact what's in here. You see Riverside here? We have Riverside with a bunch of tremors here all the time. San Bernardino, tremors here. Colton, tremors here. Rialto, Fontana, tremors and minor earthquakes, as well as 3.0 earthquakes here in Fontana every day. They don't show them. They don't show them. But they're not showing them doesn't mean they didn't happen. They still happen every day. Okay? There is a seismograph in Fontana, California. Rancho Cucamonga has minor earthquakes here as well. Okay? Upland, California. Upland, Ontario, Claremont, Laverne, Pomona area, Rancho Cucamonga. They have tremors and minor earthquakes here all the time. All the time. Okay? Here in Chino and Chino Hills, minor earthquakes here as well. Minor earthquakes here as well. Now, we'll go down here into greater LA area. Yorba Linda has some earthquakes as well, tremors and minor earthquakes. La Habra, Anaheim here, minor earthquakes and tremors. I happen to know that the Anaheim seismogram here has nothing but wall-to-wall, top-to-bottom, side-to-side tremors here. Tremors and minor earthquakes. And Anaheim had a 3.0 earthquake here just after 3 a.m. this morning. Just after 3 a.m. this morning. Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm are here in Anaheim, California. Big, huge amusement parks here, as well as a lot of other people here. Okay? Over here in Garden Grove, Westminster, Los Alamitos, huge track here, racehorses here. Long Beach area, earthquakes. Long Beach area earthquakes, guys. Just like we have in Anaheim. On the sidegram here, we have top to bottom tremors and minor earthquakes, and also several 3.0 earthquakes here in Long Beach, California. All kinds of earthquakes here. All kinds of earthquakes here. South of Huntington here. South of Huntington. Laguna Bell, Laguna Beach, California. All kinds of tremors here in Laguna Beach. All the time. All the time. Going north of Long Beach up here. Along the coastline here. Okay. You have Hermosa Beach here. Redondo. Manhattan here. El Segundo Naval Air Station here. Actually, not a Naval Air Station, it's an Air Force Station here in El Segundo. Up here. Okay? Guys, right here. We have tremors here all over this area. Playa del Rey and Marina del Rey have marinas here. All kinds of tremors here. Nothing bigger than tremors, though. All kinds of tremors here, Marina del Rey and Playa del Rey here. All kinds of them. All up and down the coastline. Here in Santa Monica, there happens to be a small airport right there. In Santa Monica Airport, we have a bunch of tremors as well. Like I said, it goes without saying that this place has earthquakes all the time. USGS never wants to show them. They never want to know what's actually going on here. Now, might wonder what I'm doing here. I'm trying to find Baldwin Hills here. Baldwin Hills, guys, right here. Oil and gas. Oil and gas. I believe there are about 50 pumps and jacks throughout the Baldwin Hills here. Oil and gas research here. They're pulling oil and gas out of the ground here in the greater Los Angeles area. As a result, we have a bunch of tremors here all the time. All the time here, guys. Baldwin Hills has tremors here all the time. Occasionally, we'll see a minor 2.0, 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here in the Baldwin Hills. All kinds of earthquakes. But the San Andreas Fault here is over here east of Los Angeles. They still don't want to admit what's actually going on here. Yes, there are earthquakes here. There are always earthquakes here. North of the greater Los Angeles area here, Little Creek, California, we have a 0.7 microquake. The hills just north and east of Los Angeles here. 0.7 microquake here. Going north here. They're not showing anything here on the San Andreas Fault until we get to just southeast of Monterey Bay, California. Right here. Tres Pinos, California. 1.2 tremor here. Just south of Tres Pinos here in the Pinnacles. Oil and gas production here in the San Andreas Fault here in the Pinnacles. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Right here. 8 kilometers east-southeast of Prunedale, California. Near Salinas, north of Salinas here. 1.8 tremor here. 1.8 tremor here. Now, just because this earthquake is west of the San Andreas doesn't mean it was not on the earthquake fault. This earthquake may have very well been related to the San Andreas Fault. Here in the Bay Area, the San Andreas Fault is also locked and loaded here. Here in the Bay Area, the San Andreas Fault is capable of a 7.5 or larger earthquake. In the Bay Area, the San Andreas Fault is capable of a 7.5 to 8.0 earthquake here. It's going to happen at some point in time. This earthquake here in Gilroy, California, these earthquakes happen all the time, every day in Gilroy, California. This is 1.7 tremor here. Going north here, Gilroy and this earthquake here on Hayward Fault. This is 1.4 tremor here near Seven Trees, California, on the Hayward Fault. There are other earthquakes here in the San Francisco Bay Area. The USGS is not going to show them, are they? They almost never do. Going north here, right here, Glen Ellen, California. Glen Ellen, California, southeast of Santa Rosa, 1.8 tremor. These are mountains here, guys. And right here in this particular area, this fault here, this earthquake is between, right smack dab between two faults related to the Hayward Fault. For the northeast here, this earthquake is related to the Calaveras Fault. 1.5 tremor here near Angwin, Calafornia. Northeast of there, separate fault. Hidden Valley Lake, California. Hidden Valley Lake, California. 1.5 tremor. Then we come over here to Sonoma County, California. Sonoma County. These earthquakes here are in the Geysers facility. The Geysers geothermal facility. This is where scientists and men have drilled into the crust of the earth to obtain steam from a volcano. They drilled in the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano here to obtain steam from that volcano to power turbines here in the Geysers facility here. Turbines here, guys, turbines. Right here, this red earthquake here is a 1.8 tremor here. This red earthquake here to the southwest here, it's a 1.7 tremor here. The Geysers facility here. The Geysers facility here. All over this facility, guys, we have a total of 81 boilers here. 81 great big huge turbines here. They're powered by the steam from the volcano. 81 turbine facilities here. For example, right here. This is a 9-bank turbine facility here. Further over here, more turbines here. Would they go right here? There's another turbine facility right here. There are a total of 81 different turbines throughout this Geysers facility here. The seismic energy comes here off the Pacific plate, comes over to these man-made earthquake faults, these drill points, and fractures the rock inside the drill points, causing earth movement. Earthquakes, guys. That's why we have earthquakes here in the Geysers facility. Okay? Typically, we have anywhere from 30 to 50 earthquakes here in the Geysers facility every day. Sometimes as little as 20. Most of the time, it's 30 to 50 earthquakes here in the Geysers facility here every day. Now, yes, guys, we have earthquakes around the Clear Lake volcano as well. But again, USGS doesn't want to show them. We have 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes here around Clear Lake volcano. In case we will have 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes around the volcano area as well. Clear Lake volcano is an active volcano. It's an active volcano. And the towns around here have people living in them. This is mostly a resort area here. Mostly a resort area here. But people live here year round. It's a volcano. Most people don't even know that. Don't even know it. North of Clear Lake, we have another earthquake just hit. This is 1.6 tremor here in Pillsbury, Lake Pillsbury, California. Lake Pillsbury, California has earthquakes here all the time. 1.6 tremor here. West of here, Willis, California. We have earthquakes in Willis, California all the time. This is 1.7 here. Southwest of there, Redwood Valley. 1.0 tremor here. It's on the fault line here, guys. On the earthquake fault line. Now, let's follow the San Andreas Fault here. It leaves the Western Bay Area here, goes north along the shoreline of Northern California here, and goes off the shoreline here in Northern California. Meets up with two other faults here. Okay, the Gorda Escarpment runs east to west from Northern California here, and the Cascadia Subduction Earthquake Fault. The Cascadia Subduction Zone here. The Triple Junction is here, guys. They call it the Triple Junction. East of the Triple Junction here, going into Northern California, we have the Mendocino Fault here. The Mendocino Fault. Right here on the Mendocino, guys, we have a 1.6 tremor here. Redway, California. Up here to the northeast, 2.1 earthquake here. 35 kilometers northeast of Redwood Valley, Redway, California here. Now notice this. Just because USGS doesn't show any earthquakes here, doesn't mean they didn't happen. They have. USGS not showing anything in Oregon. Yes, there are earthquakes here in Oregon every day. Over here in Washington, they're showing a handful of earthquakes. One of them is at Mount St. Helens. Is 0.1 microquake here at Mount St. Helens. Guys, I know for a fact we have more earthquakes, just microquakes here. Yes, we have a bunch of microquakes every day. Probably anywhere from 50 to 100 microquakes a day here at Mount St. Helens. On the same token, here at Mount St. Helens, we have dozens, literally dozens of minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. And every day we have a 3.0 earthquake here, at least every day at Mount St. Helens. Over here in the western foothills of Mount St. Helens, they're showing a 0.1 microquake here. They say this is 33 kilometers northeast of Amboy, Washington. Again, they never say this is Mount St. Helens. 33 kilometers northeast of Amboy, Washington. Here at Mount St. Helens, they're doing the same thing. 38 kilometers northeast of Amboy. But you can see it is at Mount St. Helens. They don't want us to know what's going on here in any of these volcanoes. Here at Mount Rainier, they're showing a 0.7 microquake here at Mount Rainier. Another volcano, guys. But they're saying this is 22 kilometers east-northeast of Ashford, Washington, at Mount St. Helens. I did not say Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier. I'm sorry, Mount Rainier. This is southwest of Mount Rainier, the foothills of the volcano. The 0.3 microquake, but USGS is saying this is 8 kilometers east of Ashford, Washington. USGS is stupid, guys. They're stupid to have us believe we don't know what's going on here. Almost directly west of Mount Rainier here. Another 0.5 microquake. They're saying 13 kilometers north-northeast of Ashford, Washington. This is in the foothills of Mount Rainier. These are not the only earthquakes here. Yes, we have tremors here. We have microquakes. We also usually here at Mount Rainier have at least 1 to 2 3-point earthquakes here every day. And yes, occasionally we will have a 4.5 moderate earthquake here at Mount Rainier. It happens all the time. Earthquakes all over Washington State. USGS didn't want to show them here. For whatever the reason, I don't know. They don't want, well, I do know. They are trying to lie to us. Now I show them here, they can deny it. It's called plausible deniability. Plausible deniability. Up here, south of the border with Canada, we have Mount Baker here. Mount Baker. Mount Baker is a volcano, guys. And yes, Mount Baker here has earthquakes here as well. They don't want to show them here for whatever reason. I know it. You know it too. Plausible deniability. But they want to show us an explosion here in Canada. They want to show an explosion here in Canada. Guess what? This happens to be a 2.1 minor earthquake. 2.1 minor earthquake. 14 kilometers south of Princeton, Canada. 14 kilometers south of Princeton, Canada. They're calling this an explosion. It's all fine and good. They can call it whatever they want. But right here, this earthquake, 40 kilometers south of Princeton, Canada, is approximately 8 miles east of a quarry here. 8 miles east of a quarry here. This was an explosion here. This was an explosion. What actually happened here, guys? What actually happened? It was not an explosion, guys. This was not an explosion at all. It's called spontaneous combustion carnivorous. An exploding tree. Now I'm poking fun at it, guys. No trees don't explode unless they have dynamite here. They're knocking down a bunch of pine trees, most of them. Okay? They might be logging here. I don't think so, though. Guys, this was not spontaneous combustion carnivorous. I want to thank Demon Catman for sending me this meme here. Demon Catman made this for me. USGS frequently has these yield signs, which typically are either quarry blasts or an explosion here. In this case, they're calling it an explosion here, east of the quarry here. This is just a tremor, guys, or minor earthquake. 2.1 minor earthquake here. Not an explosion, but a minor earthquake here. But again, USGS will not even admit it. They won't admit it here. They never do. They never do. Heaven forbid they can be truthless. Heaven forbid they can be truthless at all. Sad but true. I don't remember a time ever USGS was truthful with anybody, ever. Even back in my college days when USGS showed more earthquakes on the map, admitted to earthquakes on the map, now they show very little. They want to deny they haven't. They'd rather deny they haven't. Sad, but they do it all the time. I've got used to seeing it. I've got used to seeing it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, guys, it happens all the time. Does anybody have any questions for me? Anybody have any questions for me? Guys, we have some more moderators here. We have Renee Seppi. I don't think we have Heather here. But we have Rich Quake. Renee Seppi lives just east of me in Shelby, North Carolina. Rich Quake is over in Nova Scotia, Canada. He's a good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. I love Rich Quake. He's great. By the way, Rich Quake also has his own YouTube channel. Go over there and watch it. Go over there and give him some love as well. Renee Seppi's a great lady. She's one of our weather ladies here on our chat here. We love Renee Seppi. We love all of our EMA family here. We love all of you. Yet Hall here has a question. He says, I have a question. If you know they're lying to you, why do you trust them? I don't trust them at all. They only show a handful of earthquakes when they want to do it. I don't trust them at all. Know for a fact there's earthquakes there. That's why I tell you there are earthquakes there. I tell you what's happening at the volcanoes because that's what's happening. I don't trust them at all. At all. Guys, no, I don't trust them. But I'm going to tell you this. When we have earthquakes there, I'm going to tell you what's going on. One, you deserve to know. You deserve to know. Okay? That's why we talk about it. Yes, I show you the map. But I also show you all kinds of earthquakes as well. Tonight, we did not get in earthquakes in Europe. They don't show earthquakes in Europe usually at all. Guys, in Europe, we have nearly 1,000 earthquakes in Europe alone. Nearly 1,000 earthquakes in Europe all over the place. From England, British Crown area, Scotland, Ireland, England itself, earthquakes. We've been having tremors and minor earthquakes in Scotland recently. Spain always has minor earthquakes there. Northwestern Spain, northeastern Spain, southern Spain, all the time. France has minor earthquakes and tremors all the time. Ukraine, Slovakia, Slovenia, earthquakes. Germany, tremors and minor earthquakes. Italy, tremors and minor earthquakes and occasionally 3.5 earthquake in Italy. All over Greece. We probably have 25 earthquakes in Greece today. I didn't count them before I came on the air, but we had 25 earthquakes earlier today in Greece alone. Turkey, Western Turkey, Southern Turkey, Northern Turkey, 75 earthquakes. Eastern Turkey is a different story. 42 earthquakes in Eastern Turkey, near the Syria border. It's a different reason why they have earthquakes at the Turkish-Syria border. The earthquakes at the Turkish-Syria border, guys, are aftershocks of a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that happened 3 years ago. February 3rd, 2023. 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that killed over 5,000 people and injured over 5,000 others. Incredible. Incredible. That earthquake also left a huge hole in the ground. A great big huge fissure opened up in Turkey, 14 miles long. And it could house an 8-story deep earthquake, an 8-story tall earthquake, or not earthquake, 8-story tall building inside the earthquake fault. An 8-story tall building inside that earthquake fault. That's how deep that fissure was. Powerful earthquakes do that. Powerful earthquakes do that. We've had quite a few 9.0, 10-point earthquakes literally around the globe since I started broadcasting in 2019. Quite a few. One down in Antarctica. USGS denied it happened until several months later when someone flew a private scientific plane over Antarctica. Then they saw a huge fissure in the ice. I think it was like 12 mile long fissure in the ice of Antarctica, caused by that 9.0 earthquake that hit there. Yeah, they do happen. They do happen. We had that 9.0 over in Japan. We also had nearly a 9.0 earthquake over in Kamchatka Peninsula 4 or 5 months ago. They do happen. They happen on a regular basis. Tomorrow night, guys, we will talk about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. So please tune into that program. Please tune into that program, guys. You're going to want to see it. Now, one more thing. And I prepared this for this program. Those of you who were with me back in 2019, 2019, 2020, and 2021, know we saw this man with President Trump. Dr. Fauci here, he lied to the public. He lied to the public about COVID. He lied to the public about COVID. When Biden took over, they continued to lie about COVID. The Biden administration told YouTube to penalize those of us here on YouTube that talked about COVID. They said they didn't want people to talk about COVID, but I did. At that time, I'd been on the air for 4 years. By that time, I'd been on the air for 4 years. They took my channel down after 4 years. At that point in time, they took it off the air. I had 25,000 people that were on our program. 25,000 subscribers here with our first YouTube channel. Because YouTube didn't like it, like me talking about COVID, and the Biden administration told YouTube to take those of us down that did it, I lost my first channel. Several days later, I came on with this channel here. This channel has been on the air for over 3 years now. A total of 7+ years I've been on the air on YouTube. Now we have 7,200 plus people here as subscribers to our channel. Over 700,000 people subscribing to our channel. Let me check something here. Hold on. I'm going to tell you exactly how many subscribers we have. We have 7,220 subscribers to our channel right now. Earlier this week, we had 7,223. YouTube continues to take people off our channel. They continue to unsubscribe people. Guys, if you are on our channel now, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Please subscribe to our channel. If you're already subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed to our channel, because YouTube unsubscribes people all the time. They do it frequently. When you subscribe to our channel, there's a little bell icon right next to the subscription button. It's a notification bell. Click on that little bell icon. When you click on that little bell icon, there'll be a drop-down item menu here. 3 items will drop down on the menu. Click on the word ALL, all. That will get you notified when we come on the air. We come on the air between 4 and 6 p.m. weekdays. 4 to 6 p.m. weekdays Eastern Time. YouTube doesn't always notify people when we come on the air. Even our moderators aren't notified when we come on the air. One of my best friends, Renee Seppi here, she's one of our moderators. YouTube continues to not notify her as well. Rich Quake is not notified. One of my best friends, Don Patoka, is one of my moderators. He doesn't get notified. Rob 52 in Arizona doesn't get notified. Heather doesn't get notified. Hurricane Heather doesn't get notified. Again, one of my moderators. Many of you don't. Please make sure you're still subscribed to our program. And also make sure you click on that little bell icon to get notified when we come on the program. And click on that word ALL, all, so you get notified when we come on the program. Why is that so important? I'm going to tell you. Because, guys, most of the time we do come on the air between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Time, weekdays, but we can come on the air at night, middle of the night, early in the morning, or on weekends, whenever there's a major event happening. Whenever there's an emergency or disaster here, we're going to talk about it. On Sundays, we come on the air with our Sunday school class about 12 noon, 12:30, even 1 o'clock. A Sunday school class we do every week called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. Those of you that are Christians, you might want to tune into to this channel with our Sunday school class. You might have a lot of fun with it. Please do that. This picture of Dr. Fauci. He was the president of the National Institute of Health. He lied to us about COVID. Today he testified before the U.S. Senate. Guess what? He lied again. Several senators were there questioning him. He lied to the senators. And then, in fact, 111 times, guys, 111 times, he took the Fifth Amendment. Fifth Amendment prevents him from discriminating against himself because he lied to the public. He knows he's guilty. And yes, here in the U.S. Senate, they could convict him of lying to the public and have him arrested for lying to the public and put in federal prison for doing it. I hope he is. I hope he is. Now, those of you that have been here with us before President Trump took over as president, before Biden left office, he gave Dr. Fauci a free will to not have to testify to anybody, not to have to serve prison time. Guess what? President Trump has revoked that item that President Biden gave him. Yes, he had to testify. And yes, he still could go to prison. He lied to all of us, and he lied to the Senate today, and he may go to prison for it. I hope he does. I hope he does. Rocky Mountain Michaels is here from Kansas City. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Now, why am I so pissed off about COVID? Why? Because like I said, I talked about COVID, and President Biden said I was lying about it and telling YouTube to take those of us off that talk about it. I lost my first channel. Some days later, I came up with this channel. I've been on there another 3.5 years. I'm going to continue with it. But there's another thing you need to know about it. Within the next week, I'm going to come on the air with a special broadcast and talking directly about what's been going on with our channel. YouTube unsubscribing people, YouTube not even showing validity of how many people view our channel on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, even on a yearly basis. They're lying to me, they're lying to all of you, and I'm going to prove it. I've got a ton of evidence, guys. I've got a ton of evidence. And showing that program to you and show it to YouTube, hopefully YouTube will change their programming, change their minds on how they're doing it. Why are they doing it? They're trying to take me off the air and take hundreds of other channels off the air as well. I'm not going to go willingly. Thousands of you want me to stay. They're showing 7,220 people subscribe to our program. And today they're only showing 24 people watching our program now. Unreal. 4 years ago, I had 25,000 people watching our program, who were subscribed to our program. And we had over 1,500 to 2,000 people watching our program every day. Every day. Now we have 7,200. They just barely show us having 25 people watching us. YouTube is lying through their teeth about it. And I have all kinds of truth about it. All kinds of truth. Running with Scissors, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate Renee Sevi being here. I appreciate Rocky Michaels being here. Yagil Hot, 8888 here. Appreciate you as well. Please subscribe to our channel. And all of you that are here, please also share this channel with everybody you know. Your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, the people you associate with on social media, even the people you work with. Everybody needs to know about this channel. Why? Because we talk about emergencies, we talk about disasters, earthquakes, explosions, huge major train derailments, tornadoes, hurricanes, cold weather, all kinds of bad weather, major events that happen around the globe. We talk about it. When they happen, guys, we talk about it. We talk about wildfires in the U.S. We talk about wildfires around the world. Guys, we have all kinds of fires in Spain and France right now. All kinds of them. Wildfires. Dangerous, dangerous wildfires. Even just outside Paris, France. Huge wildfires. Already here in the United States, in Utah, Colorado border, we've lost 4 firefighters that died as a result of fighting fires here in the Colorado, Utah area. God bless our first responders, the firefighters, and police help protect us. God bless you all. Thank you all for watching this channel today. I appreciate you very much. Before you leave, guys, I want to tell you this. I am a Christian man. I talk about Jesus Christ all the time. I've talked about the Savior's divine mission. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He's our Savior and Redeemer, who was sent here to the earth to save us all. He preached his gospel on the earth. The Jews and the evil people of his day persecuted him, bound him, whipped him, spit on him, put him on a cross, and killed him. That didn't stop him. That was part of his divine mission. He died on the cross, put in a sepulcher, and after the third day he was resurrected, making it possible for each one of us to also be resurrected. Death is not going to hold us in the grave. Because of Jesus Christ, you can also feel joy and deep peace, knowing you can be free from sin and someday live forever with God and your loved ones in heaven. May God bless you. May God be with you this and always. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I love each and every one of you. I love our EMA family. Thank you for being here, guys. We appreciate you very much. Love and appreciate you very much. I hope you have a good night. Be safe. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Take care. You guys are the best. Sorry about that. That's not the music. But this is. Well, dadgummit. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. I know I have outro music. I know I have outro music, but it's not here. Guys, I'll have it tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.